Hello everybody, my name is Memo. This is my channel, Fancy Memo. Welcome back to my channel. And y'all probably didn't see this coming. I'm kind of extending this week a little bit because I have another list for you all. But this time, we're not talking about 2024 music. That's in the past. That's still last year. But you know, since it is 2025 now, that means we've been in 5 years within this decade. So since it's been 5 years, we've hit the halfway point. So I thought it would be a good idea to talk about the best music of this decade so far within this halfway point. And in this video, we are talking about the best songs of this decade so far. It's been actually pretty fun to go back to my past playlist, check out my favorite songs from those years and compile this list. I made a playlist for this video as well, so you could check out every song I talk about within this video on Spotify. I'll have a Spotify playlist link down below. But yeah, I'm going to talk about my 50 favorite songs of this decade so far. But before I do that, if you like music related content like this, please subscribe, since that's what I do here. And if you're already subscribed and you want more of this for some reason, check out my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. If you like basketball, more specifically NBA basketball, I have a basketball podcast. It's called Above the Rim Rundown, where we run down all things NBA. Check it out if you're interested. But yeah, let's just jump into this. Like other list week videos, I will speed run the first half of the list and then talk a bit more of the second half once we get there. But yeah, let's jump into this. Number 50 goes to BabyTron and Cordae with Beetleborgs. Number 49, Josiah with Art of War featuring Denzel Curry and Rico Nasty, one of my favorite workout songs. Number 48, Steve Lacy with Bad Habit. Number 47, Schoolboy Q with Thank God For Me. Number 46, Geordie Creep with Holy Holy. Number 45, Sampha with Spirit 2.0. Number 44, Genesis Owusu with Leaving the Light. Number 43, No Worries with Daydreaming. Number 42, Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar with Hillbillies. Number 41, Magdalena Bay with All You Do. If you're a fan of Magdalena Bay's music this past year with Imagine Disc and have not checked out their past music, I highly recommend this hidden gem from their Mercurial World Deluxe. Number 40, we've got Jid and Kenny Mason with Dance Now. Number 39 goes to Anderson .Paak with Lockdown. Speaking of Anderson .Paak, number 38, Silk Sonic with Love's Train. Number 37 goes to McKinley Dixon and Jamil, if I'm saying that correctly, with Dedicated to Tar Feather. Number 36 goes to By Storm, Richie with a T and Parker from Injury Reserve with Double Trio. Number 35 goes to James Blake with Like the End. Number 34 goes to Joba with American Fever. Number 33 goes to J Electronica with APIDTA, or All Praise is Due to Allah. Number 32 goes to Charli XCX with Forever. Number 31 goes to Cuco with Pendant. Number 30 goes to Clairo with Juna. Number 29 goes to Future Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar with Like That. Number 28 goes to Black Country New Road with Across the Pond, Friend. Number 27 goes to Hemlock Springs with Sever the Blight. And number 26, it's Scary Those, it's JPEG Mafia, it's Danny Brown with Perfect. So yeah, that's the first half. Now we're diving into the other half, the top 25. We got JPEG Mafia with Sin Miedo. What a banger. What a banger. The mix of rock and hip hop production is insane on this track. 24 goes to Brockhampton and Danny Brown with BUZZCUT, another insane track. I love the Danny Brown feature. He sounds so unhinged. It's such an unhinged track in general, so check it out if you haven't. Speaking of unhinged, this one's gonna be weird. At number 23, 100 Gecs with Hand Crushed by a Mallet remix featuring Fall Out Boy's Craig Owens and Nicole Dollanganger, if I'm saying that correctly. It is such an insane, crazy, loony little track, but it's such a banger at the same time. It can be aggressive and in your face. I love it so much. Number 22 goes to Joji with Gimme Love. Very addicting track, and I love the explosivity at the end of the track to end things off. It's great. It's beautiful. Number 21, Wise Blood with It's Not Just Me, It's Everybody. I'm going to use this word again, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful track with beautiful vocals and a beautiful instrumental. I'm going to try to stop saying beautiful from now on. Number 20 goes to Quali Chris and Chris Keys with Graphic Bleed Outs. They also had some help from Melanie Charles and Meryl Garbus. One of Quali Chris's best songs. There's just such a warmth to this track that I absolutely love. I love the instrumentation. It's very beautiful. The flutes on this track, oh my god, it's so gorgeous. A gorgeous track here. I love the lyric, depressing as well. The features killed it. Brilliant track. Number 19 goes to Carly Rae Jepsen with The Loneliest Time featuring Rufus or Wainwright. This blew up on TikTok, and for a good reason. This is such a banger. It's such an extravagant track with some great singing, great chemistry from these two as well. I love it a lot. Number 18 goes to James Blake with Say What You Will. A moody track, a gorgeous track. James Blake just does his thing on this song, and I'm obsessed with it. I really am. Number 17, Little Sims with Introvert. A very bombastic track, you know, it's very cinematic and gorgeous as well with those string instrumentals and Little Sims sounding so bold and heroic on it as well. Number 16, Leve with Goddess. Has this very slow build up, but is all worth it because it has such a beautiful climax. Number 15, Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar again with Family Ties. This is such an insane banger. I love how these two bounce off each other. They sound insane. Very kooky. I love the different flows and voices, and the beat switches here are killer. 14, Tyler the Creator with Sorry Not Sorry. A very personal track from Tyler. He's going over his past and his mistakes and how this all led to Tyler being the person he is today. Number 13 goes to Walkin by Denzel Curry. What a track, dude. One of my favorite hip-hop beats I've listened to all decade, I guess. Denzel is rapping his ass off on this. Songs like this are so impressive. He truly is one of the best rappers right now. Number 12 goes to Gorillaz with Strange Times featuring Robert Smith, who had an incredible performance on this. This was very unexpected, but yeah, he has not lost a beat whatsoever. He did his thing, and Gorillaz as well did their thing. It's a very unique and odd track that only Gorillaz could create, giving me another reason why they are my favorite band of all time. And number 11, we've got Childish Gambino with Lithonia, an insane pop punk track by Gambino. I did not see this coming whatsoever. It's such a cool track. The instrumentals are great. Gambino's performance is amazing. What's not to love? So yeah, that's my 50 through 11. Now we're at the top 10. The top 10, ladies and gentlemen. And at number 10, we've got Caro Caro Bonito with Well Rested. This is such an odd track. It's a very apocalyptic track. This was made during the 2020s, I believe. So there was a lot of despair going on. And, you know, this track is trying to lift things up a little bit, talking about the strength of humanity. It's such an insane track. It does not slow down at all. There's always a twist and turn going on. The production just progresses further and further as you listen. This song might be on the longer side, but it is always a fun listen when I put it on. So that's number 10. Number 9 goes to Bad Bad Not Good and MF Doom with the Chocolate Conquistadors. Kind of random because this song was meant for a GTA playlist, I believe. But the combination of these two artists is a brilliant combination with Bad Bad Not Good's production and MF Doom's amazing raps. Rest in peace to him. Like, this was one of the last songs he was ever a part of before his death, unfortunately. But he really did his thing on this, doing things that only Doom would do. Like, he starts things off rapping in Spanish because why not? Of course, Doom would just randomly rap on this track in Spanish for the first part, and then he does his thing in English. It's great. The raps are great. You know, he does his thing there, and the Bad Bad Not Good production is so good. They really are a great match for each other. I would have loved an album from these two together. That would have been sick, especially with that Bad Bad Not Good, like, I would say outro, but it's like half the track. Half of the track is this just jazzy explosion of instrumentals going at you, and it sounds awesome. It really does. So yeah, maybe a little random it being on this list, but if you have not checked it out, I do really recommend it. It's in my top 10 of the decade so far for a reason. So please, I'm begging, give it a listen. Number 8 goes to Silk Sonic with Leave the Door Open. I remember the first time I listened to this song, not only was I like surprised that Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak were coming together for a song, but I was surprised with how amazing it turned out, which I really shouldn't be surprised. Like, these two have some very similar qualities, but with that said, I was still shocked. It was like not what I wanted, but it's what I needed. This is exactly what I needed at the time. I needed more Anderson .Paak, and I guess I needed more Bruno Mars in my life. And their combination together is really amazing. A lot of people downplay it a lot because, it's Bruno Mars, very poppy. So a lot of people don't take it as seriously as like other Anderson .Paak works. But I still think it's really, really good. I named A Night with Silk Sonic, I believe it's called, my album of the year when it was released, because of how insanely good each track is, the instrumentation, and their chemistry. Yeah, speaking of chemistry, their chemistry on Leave the Door Open is great. The performances here are so good. They both are so charismatic on this track. We get some funk going on, some soul going on. It's a really killer track. I love it a lot. Maybe a little overplayed when it came out, but I love it nevertheless. Number 7 goes to Quadeca and Kevin Abstract with Texas Blue. It ranked very high in my 2024 list. If you watch that, you would know. If you haven't, check it out, please. But yeah, it's such a moody, melodramatic song about hiding your true feelings, hiding your pain, hiding what's hurting you in order to like save a relationship. I love the instrumental here. It's very well done. You can tell there was a lot of care that went into this track. The singing performances as well were great. I didn't expect that from Quadeca, but he did his thing. He really did. He turned me into a fan this year, and it's mainly because of this track. Like, this track became my most listened to track of 2024. I don't know what that says about me, but I do really enjoy this track, even though it is so sad. But yeah, I could not get enough of it. I love singing to this song, especially in the car alone. It's just a song I love going back to. So that's my number 7. Number 6 goes to Kendrick Lamar with Euphoria, the best diss track to be released out of the biggest rap battle in history. And yeah, I love it a lot. When we talk about the instrumentals are crazy. I love the different beat switches and the different tempo changes. The writing here is clever, is witty. There's a lot of quotables and amazing bars here. Kendrick's rapping is insane. He's so charismatic, funny at times. I love the different voices he uses. And what I truly love about this is how he predicted everything that was gonna happen in the rap battle. And he even like spelled out his like game plan to the world, and still nobody saw what was to come. But yeah, it's one of the best diss tracks I've ever heard in my life. It's insane. It really is insane. So that will be my number 6. Now it's time for the top 5. The top 5, ladies and gentlemen. At number 5, we have The Weeknd with After Hours. I kind of forgot about this track, but going back to it, I now remember why I loved it so much. It's such an insane track that came off of the album After Hours. And when we talk about the album, we think about Heartless, we think about Blinding Lights, of course, but nobody talks about the title track, and I don't know why. This is an insane track with one of the best beat switches I've heard in a song, especially like this decade. And the second half of the song is just so good. It has this nice earworm. The chorus here is so catchy. Oh baby, where are you now when I need you most? It's so good. It's so good. It might be my favorite Weeknd track ever, honestly. I think that's what I said when I was talking about it during my list week years ago, and I think it still is my favorite. I cannot get enough of this track. It might be on the longer side, but it's worth your time. It's worth your listen. There's a reason it made it in the top 5 of the decade. So far. Number 4, we got a sadder one. We've got Good News by Mac Miller, which it was the first single to be released off of his posthumous album Circles. And yes, posthumous because this was released after he died. And when you listen to this song for the first time, it is a wild experience because he is talking about death on this album. And he knew what was to come, which was basically the creepy part. He knew that he didn't have enough time on the earth, but he didn't want people to worry about him because he knew he was going to be in a much better place, which is very haunting. It's a haunting track but at least like it didn't sound haunting. It is oddly like, I wouldn't say upbeat is the right word, but it feels hopeful. It feels hopeful, and I think that's what Mac Miller was hoping for. He had this hopeful feeling in him. He displayed it on this track, and unfortunately he passed before the official release of this song, which is crazy. It was a crazy moment when it happened years ago, and it's crazy to think about. But yeah, rest in peace to Mac Miller. He was so talented. It's really sad knowing what happened. Rest in peace. Moving on. I'm sorry for the downer there. It gets me honestly, but I'm gonna push through. With number 3, we've got Kendrick Lamar once again with The Heart Part 5. I promise this is the last time you will hear Kendrick Lamar come out of my mouth on this list, but I am gonna talk about The Heart Part 5. This is my favorite song to come from him this decade, and yeah, what a track. This is how he started his rollout for Mr. Morale, as he does with the Heart series. That's how he rollouts most of his albums. It's such a crazy track with insane production. I love the Marvin Gaye sample on this track. It is so well executed, well produced, insanely good track, and the lyrics here is so insane, where he's like switching up all these different perspectives. Probably the most haunting of them all was when he switched into this Nipsey Hussle perspective at the end. That is just a mind-blowing experience to go through, especially during your first listen of this track. It was truly insanity. It was. But now that I've had time with this track, I just fall more and more in love with it, and it just truly shows how great of a lyricist Kendrick Lamar is. It's such a well written, well orchestrated track only a few artists like Kendrick Lamar could create. So yeah, that's number 3. Number 2, maybe the most surprising addition to the list. A lot of people probably wouldn't have expected this to be this high, but it does go to Kanye West with Come to Life off of Donda. You could do like the Donda Deluxe version, where it has some background vocals from Tyler the Creator. I think that's a great track. Either way, Come to Life is one of the most gorgeous songs Kanye West has ever been a part of. And he has an amazing discography. There's a lot of beautiful, gorgeous tracks in his discog, but this is one of my favorites. And I think a big reason why I love this track is just being able to hear Kanye be personal, be vulnerable on a track in a way that he really hasn't done in the past. You know, in this track, he's desiring like another life. He regrets not listening to his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, and talks about a lot of mixed emotions about his time with her. And although it's a little depressing, he does have some hope in his life because he knows that he will forever have his children, which means a lot to him. He clearly cares about his kids and want to do everything in the world to make sure they are healthy and happy and safe. Although he is very, very flawed, you can tell that the one thing that he truly wants to be is a good dad, at least based off of songs like this. The singing here is some of the best singing you'll ever hear coming from Kanye West. It is so beautiful. Maybe you could say it's a little amateur, but I think that helps in this case because he just seems very vulnerable and genuine within his singing. And yeah, the instrumental's good, especially when the piano comes in. That is just such a gorgeous and pretty moment on this album. It really is one of the greatest tracks that he's ever been on. Knocked it out of the park with this track, and it gets me sad. It really does. Going back to this album, going back to this song, and remembering my love for this guy's music and seeing where he's at now, it's crazy. It's night and day difference. This is some of the best music in his career, and now he's doing the Vultures bullshit now, being even more bigoted than he was in the past. He was still like bigoted at this time, but it intensified more and more throughout the years. So it does make me sad seeing how much he's lost it over the years, because you know, he was my favorite artist for the longest time. I know I shouldn't care about him because he's a celebrity, but a part of me does. I do wish him the best because he's provided me so much joy over the years through his music that, like, I just want him to do well and stop being a bigot and continuing loving his family. That's all I want from him, but nah, he gotta hang out with Nazis now. Crazy, it's crazy. But yeah, Come to Life, number 2. Number 1, drum roll please. It is going to Black Country New Road with The Place Where He Inserted the Blade. What can I say about this track? This song is very heart-wrenching as it tells the story of this character who could not stop thinking about this past relationship that he was in and could stop thinking about the joy of being in this relationship, being very nostalgic about it. And you could tell that this person really depended on the person he was with in the relationship and truly just cared about the bond that they had and missed the memories he made with that person. And it was delivered in a way that only Isaac Woods can deliver it, in the most impactful, emotional, passionate way possible. It was delivered in such a heartbreaking fashion. It's hard not to just feel for the guy. Like, I don't know if this is a true story or not. I don't know if Isaac Woods was dealing with this or it's just a character or something. I don't know. But it is heartbreaking. I'm sure it could be relatable to a lot of people. The storytelling aspect of this track, the details within it, some seem minuscule, but it helps build this overall story. It's just a well-written track, well-performed track, and the instrumental as well is so good. It's beautiful with the strings and the flutes and the rock. Production in general just gives it this emotional backdrop that complements the lyrics and the performance so well. It's a song I go back to every time I feel sad. I've been loving this song ever since it was released. I go back to it a lot, and I could see myself going back to it for another 5 years, another 10 years, until I die. I will be going back to this because it's that good. It's that good. It's so emotional. It gets me going. So yeah, this will be my favorite song of this decade so far. We'll see if it'll be the number 1 song of the decade in general in 5 more years. But at the moment, this is my favorite song of the decade. So yeah, that's my video. I hope you all enjoyed. Hopefully, now that this video is ending, you realize that my next video will be about my top 50 albums of this decade so far. So make sure you're subscribed so you can tune into that. But I am done here for today. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, makes sense, right? Comment down below. What is your favorite song of the decade so far? Mine is The Place Where He Inserted the Blade by Black Country New Road. Let me know your favorite song of the decade down below. If you like music related content like this, please subscribe. That is what I do here. And if you're already subscribed and you want more of this for some reason, check out my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. If you like basketball, more specifically NBA basketball, I have a basketball podcast. It's called Above the Rim Rundown, where we run down all things NBA. Check it out if you're interested. But I'm done here. So thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Goodbye. Bye bye. Bye bye.